Nikita and Jeff, thanks for joining me today to go over the one sheet, which is kind of the most critical part of everything that we're doing with financial freedom. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So what I wanted to do is just start knowing that you've been through this situation and have done it, and just get a couple questions and some feedback from you. So Nikita, if I could start with you and you could tell me, why did you decide to fill out the financial freedom sheet?
So me and Steve don't want to work forever. We want to be financially free by a certain point, and we wanted to get started on that sooner rather than later. We're good at making money, but we're not really good at saving it. So that's the important part.
A little bit of savings would be good in the long term if we're going to be financially free. But listen, it's hard to make money too. So if you're good at that part, this
we're already on our way.
Okay, awesome. So when you went to fill the sheet out, were you intimidated at all by the sheet, or how did it feel to you?
I thought it was going to take a lot longer than it actually ended up taking. Me and Steve did it together. So when we sat down and we got all the information we needed, which really didn't even take that long because everything's online. Our bank statements, we kind of just printed them out, we highlighted it. So we did some of the prep work prior to, and then once we got to it, it looked a little intimidating, but it didn't take long at all. And it was, at the end, it was perfect because it gave us a plan of what we're going to do next. So.
Well, that's good. So the takeaway is, if you're thinking about doing it, don't be intimidated because it's not as hard as you think.
Correct.
All right, awesome. So let me ask you this. So now you kind of took the process and you went through it. And what did you learn from going through the process?
Well, it's definitely worth it. And we realized that we have a lot more to invest in future things. So it was a clear roadmap of where we have to put our money, and just a nice guide that we can always come back to and like just see where we're going year after year.
So would you say that it kind of created maybe even a little of a sense of calm and like, hey, like we have ideas and plans, but now that we see on paper what it's really going to take for us, that, hey, this isn't going to be as hard as we thought it was, and maybe you left feeling better than you did going into it?
In some ways, yes. And then in some things we were like, okay, what we were planning on doing with that, we shouldn't be doing with that if this is where we want to be in 15 years. So it kind of gave us a kind of like a reality check, like it was just like, it put things in perspective for us on where we want to be in 15 years. So if we want to do these things, we have to do X, Y, and Z, and maybe certain things we're not going to be able to do. The goal at the end is what matters.
You feel more motivated coming out now that you've kind of been through the process?
Yes, we were definitely more motivated coming out.
Okay, great. And how valuable do you think it was to do it together versus maybe you just filling it out by yourself?
I don't think doing it by yourself, if you're with somebody, it's not. I think you should be doing it together. It keeps you accountable to each other, so that's nice. But it's also like, if you're with this person's going to be a part of everything else. So why would you do it by yourself? So
great point. And one of my favorite comments that Bob Wells had when we went through, Bob Wells, who has his own financial mastery class, which is a 2-day class. He said to his wife, like, hey, if you don't want to be involved in this, that's fine. But then if I mess it up, it's your fault. And she's like, well, what do you mean it's my fault? Like, you did all the work. Why would it be my fault? And it would be because I need your other perspective, and I need the perspective of both of us moving in the same direction. And if I don't get that, then you're leaving the decisions to me. And if I make them and they're wrong, then you've got to kind of live with that. And it works much better when we work together. So that comment that he made stuck with me, and I totally agree with you. If you're in a relationship, you have a significant other, they really need to be part of the process.
Yeah, and it was just, it kind of like brought us together too in a way, because like he's very good at saving. I'm really good at spending. So it was just like being able to keep each other accountable in that way is like, okay. So, and it's nice because then you just have the one sheet and you're like, remember what we put here, like remember what we're trying to do. So, yeah.
Perfect. That's absolutely perfect. Okay, what we're going to do from here is we're actually going to dive into the sheet. We have Jeff with us, the creator of this sheet. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through each tab one at a time, and we're going to start by having Jeff explain to us kind of what the tab represents and what's supposed to happen, and then we're going to go through, Nikita, with you as a sample person filling this out, not with your real information, but with just information so people can see how to do that.
Cool.
So I'm going to share my screen now, which should be able to see the net worth calculation sheet. And the number one thing to remember is if it's not in orange, don't fill it out, right? So we're going to start with this sheet, and Jeff's going to kind of walk us through it, and then we'll put a sample person in. So go ahead, Jeff.
So the net worth tab is really where you're going to be entering your assets and your liabilities. And those are financial terms, and people may not know exactly what those are. So I'm going to define what your assets are. Assets are really defined as property that you own that has value. And there are a number of different categories of assets. And on this sheet, we've broken it down into really 3 different categories. We have cash and cash equivalents, we have personal items, and we have investments. So your cash and cash equivalents are really your bank accounts. You know, what's in your checking account, what's in your savings account, what's in your money market account. The personal items is really your personal property, or as I like to say, the stuff inside of your house. What is the value of the stuff inside of your house? So your furniture, your jewelry, your electronics, and also your vehicles. We're just looking for an estimate of that value. You don't need to be exact here. We just need estimates to fill out this sheet. And then finally, the final category is really your investments. So what kind of assets do you have that are investments? So first, what is your retirement? What do you have put away into your retirement accounts, which could be your IRA, your 401ks. Also, investments would be anything you have with invested possibly with advisors or on your own in stocks and mutual funds. And these would be held in separate accounts that should be easy enough for you to pull values from. And then there's some additional areas of investment that probably won't really relate to most people. We have the categories of note receivables, which are any loans that you have out to people that is due back to you. Cryptocurrency, and also life insurance, where certain life insurance policies you invest in can have value. And then the other side of this sheet is really your liabilities. And what are liabilities? Well, liabilities are really something you owe, which is usually in the form of loans or debts. And the main categories of liabilities we have here are mortgages. So what do you owe? What do you owe on the real estate you own? And also vehicle debt. What do you owe on your cars? And student loans. Do you still have student debt that you're paying off? So we'd really be looking, what is the value of those loans today? And then finally, we have a category for credit cards. And for this, we're really looking at credit card debt that is carrying over, that you're not paying off monthly. So you would also enter that form of debt. So that's really what we're looking for in the net worth calculation. It's all your assets, all your liabilities, and then your net worth is simply what are your assets less your liabilities. What is that net amount you have, which is really calculating your estimated net worth. So that's the high-level overview of the net worth tab.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Jeff, for that explanation. And if Nikita and I, as we go through it, have questions, we're going to stop and come to you and say, Jeff, we thought we understood it, but now we have a question.